Hey, we're here at the CCI Solutions Tech Center reviewing the new Presonus StudioLive 1642 and taking a look at how this mixer will work for live mixing applications. You've probably seen the video that's already on our website talking about the features of the StudioLive. Great new digital mixer designed for live use or studio applications. But today we want to focus on just the live aspect. Would this mixer really work to do a gig or to do a small or even a medium-sized church? I've been mixing for about 30 years for live applications, primarily in worship situations, and used both analog and digital mixers. And I love digital mixers because they can record the settings, they have a lot of different effects to use, but I really don't like mixers that have a lot of layers in them. So you have to look for the auxiliaries on a layer, you have to look for your different channels on a layer. This mixer is a little different. They designed this with having a lot of the functions and features readily available right on the control surface. So the first thing you're going to notice from a live standpoint is it's a 16-channel mixer. It has 4 subs and it has a master. If 16 channels is enough for you, then great. No need to talk about that any further. But most guys will say, you know what, for live applications I want a 24-channel mixer, or I may want to have a 32-channel mixer. No problem, Presonus has got you covered. All you do is take a second mixer, use the FireWire output, the FireWire connection between the two mixers. They have the software, everything ready to go. Now you have a 32-channel digital mixer. Your auxes are connected, your subs are connected, everything's all set. Easy then just to unplug it and take the two mixers into 2 separate venues for the rest of the time, so you can have a 32-channel for some of your big events, Easter, Christmas, some of the big programs, and then break it down and have a 16-channel mixer in 2 separate venues. So if that's going to work for you, then let's take a look at how this mixer might work for live. First of all, the preamps. We all want great preamps. Well, Presonus has great preamps. It's the X-Max preamps. Presonus is famous for preamps. They used to do preamps and still do preamps as a separate device that can plug into different digital consoles. We've used them with some of the other brand consoles, so we know that they work out well. In fact, a lot of the great recordings that are out today, some of the contemporary Christian recordings that are out today, have used these same X-Max preamps. So we're pretty comfortable with the fact we've got 16 microphone inputs on the back with X-Max preamps. One of the big issues in live is, can I get to the trim control right away? Well, you can see here, if you just go ahead and zoom right on into the channel here, let's take a look. So the first thing you want for live mixing is you want to have instant access to your trim control, because that's where you set the level right here in live, and you want to be able to adjust that instantaneously. You don't have to go into a menu or anything like that. Presonus has the trim control right at the top of the channel strip, as you'd expect, right here, mic or line level. The next thing is a 48-volt phantom power switch on each channel right here. You can turn it on or off. It's not a group switch, so it's not all 16 channels on or 16 channels off. It's right here on each channel. So that's great for live use. This next control, the input control, selects whether you're going to be on your live input, your mic preamp, or if you're going to come off of the 16-channel FireWire feed from your recorder. You may use a laptop, digital audio workstation, anything you want. That's also great for live use, because we can record 16 channels from this console right into their capture software and then bring it back, say right after a rehearsal, take a listen to it, maybe adjust some EQ, listen to it over the house sound system. It's fabulous for a second chance at a rehearsal. That's this control right here. You select whether this input is coming from the 16-track recorder or whether it's coming from the mic pre's. So we'll go ahead and turn those on since we don't have a live band here, and we'll got 16 channels coming in. Now, one thing this console has for live use that's fabulous, your aux controls, your monitors, your in-ear monitors, any auxiliary feeds are right here on top of the console, so I can get to them. I can get to the level control. And other consoles, it's a layer down here on the faders that you have to select from right in this area. But on this console, it's up here. So you have 6 independent auxiliaries plus 2 effect sends as well. And I can instantly get to those. Of course, you have pre-post switching. Take a look at that right there. And it happens to be these are set up in stereo pairs, which for live use we typically wouldn't use unless we were doing stereo in-ear monitors. But I can select pre-post switching right here. As we move down, this is the heart of the console. And for live use, again, this is fabulous. Every channel has the high pass filter. Remember I was mentioning that before. We don't have a high pass filter here. We just select high pass, and that will high pass this at 100 hertz and take out all that rumble and noise that you might have on a vocal microphone. So there it is right there. We can also adjust the frequency, and you can see that it'll either be as low as 24 hertz or as high as 1K. So it's a variable high pass filter. Like I say, I typically like to set that at about 100 hertz or so, right here. Then you have effects on every channel, but again, instead of going into a menu, like you might do on some consoles over here in the menu area, you have the controls for the compressor, the limiter, and the equalizer right here on this section of the board. Instantly available. How do you get to that for each channel? Well, you simply hit the select switch for that channel. So if I want to do the EQ or levels on channel 1, I hit channel 1 on the select switch, and I've got my EQ and my effects, high pass filter, gate, everything right here, instantly available. If I want channel 2, boom, I just hit that select. You can see here where it'll pop up, says selected channel, so you know what you're on. And again, instantly accessible. You don't have to look in 3 separate places, maybe a control off to the left of the board, to a display on the right hand of the board, with the channel down at the bottom of the board. It's all right here, so it's fabulous. The other thing I really like about this board is we move down and take a look at the individual channels, is each of these selectors is a heavy-duty push button. This is not an inexpensive or cheap button. This is a very heavy-duty, illuminated, almost a rubberized kind of a button. Very suitable for live use. And you can see my big finger can select that without any problem at all. Plenty of room for live use. I really don't like small, compact consoles that don't have enough room to instantly press a button just like that, or you end up selecting the wrong button. So the select buttons are right here where you'd expected, and right underneath the channel number. Isn't that great? So right where you want to look at it in a live standpoint. Now you can solo just like in a live console. You can solo each individual channel. You can solo multiple channels if you want to solo an ensemble, or you can solo in place. Fabulous. Again, it's all brightly lit instead of some small little button with a little LED somewhere else. I know exactly what's up in my solo mix. And my mute button, see how that glows nice and bright red? I know if I have a channel muted. Again, a lot of mixers have a small little button and you have to determine whether it's up or whether it's down. You really can't see. Nice big button that's well illuminated for my mute. And of course a fabulous linear potentiometer here, a fader for your volume. And you've got lots of room to mix, particularly in the critical zone between -10 and +10. This is not a small recording studio fader. This is a large, easily usable, live type of a fader. Okay, so that pretty much covers how we might use the individual channels on the Presonus StudioLive 1642. Let's take a look over in this section. We have submasters, 4 different subgroups. So just like a large console, we can assign bands, we can assign vocal groups, band, drama groups to these different subgroups, and then bring them out just like we would in live use. So no problem there. And then as we move up, this section is primarily for our digital effects. We have 2 things that we can use this for. The digital effects such as reverb, but we can also use this as a library for all the EQ settings and compression settings that are on the board. So all of these settings that are here, say I get a really nice sound out of a certain vocalist with that certain microphone, then I can record that setting into my library. 2 weeks later, when she's singing on that same microphone, I put her on a different channel, I just pull back that same group of settings and then bring them back up, and I've got my EQ, I've got my effects, everything right there. Isn't that fabulous? That is perfect for what we do. So we can run several different sets with this mixer. We can do youth groups on Friday night. We can do a Saturday night contemporary service. We can do a traditional service at 8:30 on Sunday morning, do a contemporary service again at 11 o'clock on Sunday, and just keep pulling up all the different settings for each of the channels or for the entire board, other than the fader settings. Those are manual fader settings. These are not movable faders. You can't beat this board. So I encourage you to take a look at this for live applications as well as studio applications in conjunction with the included capture software. This is what allows you to take your 16 channels out and record it into a digital format and then do these rehearsals where you set the board up, take a listen to what's going on, feed it back through the channels, and then refine your mix. The Presonus StudioLive 1642. I think a fabulous console for live use.